Welcome to the Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week preview show presented by Mercy, the official orthopedics and sports medicine provider of the Missouri Valley Conference. With head coach Scott Nagy, I'm Harry Schroeder, and Wednesday night at 6 o'clock on your local Gray media stations and on Matrix Midwest here in St. Louis, the Southern Illinois Salukis will be visiting the Bradley Braves. And Scott, we appreciate your time today. You guys, how can I say this? You've won 7 of your last 9 games. Several weeks ago, you and I talked about the confidence your team gained in the second half of a Belmont loss, where you guys were really good in the second half. Since that time, 7 of 9 games. Besides confidence, what are the common denominators to how you guys are playing better?
Mostly better defense. I think, and some of it goes together. We've been better offensively. We're starting to grasp what we have going offensively. So we're getting better shots. We're shooting a better percentage, which, if you make it, it's much easier to get back on defense and get 5-on-5. But our defense has been a lot better in that stretch. We were the first 5 games defensively. Our field goal percentage was maybe the worst in the country. It was bad. And so we just have been better defensively. And, I credit most of that to Coach Hawkins, my assistant coach. I kind of fired myself at that point because I was doing it and I wasn't doing very well. And so I turned it over to him. I've tried to stay out of it as much as I can, which I've never done before, but it's worked for us.
In the game before that Belmont game, Kennard Davis didn't play. Then he came back and played in the Belmont game. It's 4th in the league in scoring, way up there in rebounding, field goal percentage, all that. Talk about what Kennard has brought to your team, particularly since that game he missed against Illinois State.
One of the things we've done is we're playing him at point guard, and he's not a point, but he does, because of that, he has the ball in his hands more than he would if he were playing on the wing. And he's done a good job. He takes good shots. His assist turnover ratio, I think, is decent. It wouldn't be like what a point guard is, but he had one game where he had 5 turnovers, but other than that, he takes pretty good care of the ball, even though it's not the natural position for him. And I think that he likes having the ball in his hand, like most people would. And it's a different role than what he had last year with Southern Illinois, but I think he's done a good job with it. He's had to learn a lot of the sets. Well, we don't run a lot, but a few of the sets we have from different position, which he's been able to do, and we're able to kind of cater those sets toward him being at the point versus being on the wing.
You're trying to do a number of things. You've got Drew. You've got Jared Hensley playing the 5, but he's not really a 5, and Kennard not playing the 1, but not really a 1. Sometimes it is kind of meshing puzzle pieces together, isn't it?
Yeah, and that would be the other thing. We started playing better offensively when Jarrett went to the 5. And really his preference would be to not play the 5. He'd like to play the 4, but we're harder to guard when he's at the 5 because now our 5 can shoot it. It puts a lot more pressure on ball screens when your 5 can pick and pop. And so that the thing I was concerned about is, can we rebound with that squad? And we've been able to rebound pretty well. Our guards have done a pretty good job.
When I watch your team, a guy that I'm impressed with by a lot of the little things he does is Drew Steffi. Talk about him.
Well, he's another one. You look at his assist turnover ratio; it's pretty good. He doesn't turn it over a lot. He takes good shots. Being a freshman, even though he's a redshirt freshman, we're getting very good minutes out of him. Obviously, this past game, he exploded offensively, which was good to see because he hasn't shot the ball like we know he's capable of shooting it. And I'm hoping here down the stretch now he will start to shoot it like he's capable coming off of the UIC game. But he's with all the other guys and our wings, just when you look at Ollie and you look at Moo, just how downhill they are and how physical they are. We need him to shoot the ball well because he's going to get some open shots, and I think he's starting to do that.
Back when you were playing that poor defense you were talking about is when you played Bradley the last time, lost by, I don't know, around 20 points. What do you remember about that game? What do you take from that game heading into this Wednesday's game against the Braves?
Well, I've tried to wipe it out of my memory. We were so bad, and they were good on top of it. It wasn't just that we were bad; they were really good. They shot, they were at that point they were leading the country in 3-point field goal percentage. They shot it really well against us. We, we were a mess. Quite frankly, we're a different team than we were then, for sure. And they know that. I know they're telling their players that. That's what they're telling them. And so we're better defensively. We're better offensively. We just have to figure out a way to guard them better.
When you think about guarding them, obviously they've got so many multiple weapons and they're long and athletic. Do you change things up when you look at your own defense? Do you go to some different kinds of schemes, or just, man, we got to be really sound in what we always do?
Well, one of the things we've done since Hawk took over the defense is we are changing things up and trying to keep teams off balance, and he's done a good job of that. That's certainly not a strength of mine. I don't change very well, and I think we ought to be able to just do it one way and do it that way all the time. And sometimes you can't. And so Hawk's done a good job of changing things up. I really, when you look at Bradley, is can you score against them? Their field goal percentage defense is tremendous. They're long and athletic, like you say, and they do a good job of switching when they need to. And so, the question is, one, can we take care of the ball? Because we've not done a very good job of that lately. And two, can we, we got to be able to probably shoot higher than 41%.
You guys head to Carver Arena. Have you been there before when you were at your other stops?
I've not I've been there to watch some high school games, but I've not coached a game in there.
Is it important, do you think, you're an Illinois guy with Illinois background, do you think it's important, these kind of Illinois games, Illinois-centric games, in terms of long-term recruiting and those kinds of things, reputation in the state?
I think in the past that would have been more important. And I'm not saying that it's not. I think that it always is. You want to win the in-state games if you can. But with the how things have changed in terms of the transferring and the NIL, it's probably less important than it used to be. And although I think the kids don't feel that way when they play the game.
Appreciate your time, Scott. Best of luck this week.
Okay, thank you.
Our Wednesday night coverage begins at 6 p.m. Central. For information on where you can catch the game, head to mvc-sports.com. For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Harry Schroeder.